So about 12 years ago, when I bought this property, there was a bunch of brush that needed to be cleared out. And these two tools, which are on the bench now, they were instrumental in doing that work. And I've used them a bunch of times since then for various different jobs. Now, over the next few days, I have more brush, roots, and shrubs to clear out. And I'll be using these again. And while I'm doing that, I thought I'd go ahead and make a video and show what these tools can do, because I think they could be useful to a lot of different people. So just to be clear, these are my own tools. I don't have any relationship or any sponsorship with the manufacturer, but I will leave links down in the description below just in case you want to check them out yourself. So this chain here is called the Shrub Grubber from a company called Brush Grubber, who makes a lot of unique and interesting tools. Now they make several versions of this chain. This happens to be the 4-foot version, and it's basically a choke chain which is specifically designed for pulling out clumps of shrubs, although I found a lot of different uses for this chain. And it has a fairly unique design. It has 3 loops of chains, and each chain has links which are twisted, and then there's a bent metal rod which is welded to each link, and that really helps to dig into wood and debris and that sort of thing. And because it's a choke chain, you have one ring which is bigger than the other, and you can put the small one through the large one, and the harder you pull on this small ring, the tighter the chain will grab. This configuration makes it really effective at digging in and holding on to brush. And also, since you have loops on both ends of the chain, if you find that you need additional purchase, you can usually make multiple wraps of the chain so it holds on even better. And I found that since it doesn't slip as much as a standard chain, I've used it a lot more often and for a lot of different jobs. In fact, I've even used this for pulling out small trees out of the woods. And apparently I've exceeded its design limits at some point, because this oblong loop here used to be round. And another nice feature is the high visibility color. That just makes it less likely to get forgotten or lost somewhere on the forest floor. And this is the root puller, also from Brush Grubber. Now this is the standard model. There's also a bigger, heavier duty version. And it's designed for pulling out roots and small trees. The way it works is you just open up these spiky jaws here and grab onto your root or tree. Now I found that it's a lot quicker and easier to use than a standard chain, provided that you have solid wood that's small enough to fit inside of the jaws. And the harder you pull horizontally, the tighter those jaws grab onto the wood. So it's a really effective tool, and again, it has that high visibility paint. Okay, so I'm going to be using my tractor with these tools, but as long as you're working with the size of brush that they're designed for, just about anything with a suitable attachment point should work just fine, like an ATV or a riding mower. And I found that these tools are pretty well built and durable, but you do need to use some caution. Anytime you're pulling on steel, you want to take off in a slow and steady fashion. Taking off too quickly and jerking the steel can sometimes cause it to fail and cause serious bodily injury. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and take these outside, and I'll show you how they work. Okay, well, if you've seen my last few videos, you'll know that I had a tree fall over next to the shop here, and I used some of that wood to make some lumber and some to make some firewood. But now I'm left with this big stump here, so I'm going to go ahead and try to get the brush grubber chain wrapped around this and try to pull it out with the tractor. I've made a few cuts here with the chainsaw, one there and one over there and one in the back, so I think it's freed up now enough to pull out. So I could use just a standard chain for this probably, but you know, the brush grubber chain, it's a choke chain and it's going to dig into that wood really easily, so I might as well use it. I want to go ahead and get the tractor, and I'll see if I can pull this out. Well, I wasn't exactly trying to knock over my firewood rack there, but that's how it happened. I wasn't really able to grab onto the stump here where I wanted, and so I grabbed onto it where I could, and I ended up knocking over my firewood rack. But no harm done. I can pick that back up. As you can see, the chain, it grabbed really well. Didn't see any slippage or anything like that, so it has done its job. Now I need to figure out what to do with this big stump. Okay, so that big stump has been removed, as you can see. And over here I pulled out a whole bunch of roots that were in that hole and in the surrounding area. Now some of these I pulled out with the chain, but most of them I pulled out with the front end loader. I had to dig them out because they were just too far below the surface to pull them out with the chain. And I've gone ahead and got my firewood racks back into place, and I filled in the hole. That big hole was right in here. So that's all been filled in, and while I was at it, I went ahead and leveled out the area, at least to some degree, and planted grass just so this doesn't become a muddy mess. And done the same back here. And so next up, I'll go ahead and I'll take the chain and I'll start using it for something it was designed to do, which is pull out brush. So I have some brush in the back that needs to be pulled, and that's what's up next. Well, that did work. It was pretty easy. It only took about 5 minutes or so, start to finish, but it did leave a giant hole that I need to fill in. But that's okay. I still have one more bush on the other side of the house that needs to be pulled out. So it looks about like this one. So we'll see how that one goes. So this general area here, it used to be a little grove of dead trees. And I have some plans for this area, so I've gone ahead and I've cut down the trees, and I want to clear it out. But when I was cutting the trees, I didn't cut them down at the ground level. I left a few inches of stump above the ground so that I can grab onto them and pull them out by the roots. And for that, I'm going to be using mostly this root grubber here to pull these out. So let's get started. Okay, so looks like I got most of the protruding roots. I was able to pull out just about all of them, except for this one here. This one was just in too far to pull out with the tractor, or at least with the brush grubber. I can probably get that out with my front end loader. So the area is looking a little better. I need to get the loader out here and clear out some of those old rotten stumps and level out the area a bit. But in real time, it took about 18 minutes to pull out that many roots. And of course, that's me working by myself. That time could be reduced significantly with another person, one to operate the tractor and one to operate the brush grubber. But all in all, the little brush grubber and the choke chain are doing their jobs, and well worth the money in my opinion. So hopefully this video has given you an idea of the usefulness of these brush grubber tools. They are more expensive than a standard steel chain, but they're also faster and easier to use, and probably safer as well, because they can be less likely to slip off than a standard chain. And I've certainly gotten a lot of use out of them over the last 12 years. I think they're well designed and well built tools. So that's about all I have for this video. I hope this was interesting or useful, and we'll see you next time.